Welcome, sinners. I'm Jason,
And I'm Rebecca, also known as Emily Sin.
and this is the Sanctuary of Sin podcast. We will cover everything delectably sinful, from kink and queer culture to cults, sex positivity, and everything in between.
Let's get sinful.
Welcome to episode 6, our descent into Hel Cabaret, Coven of Sins. So today we're doing an event review for Hel Cabaret.
An event we've been to, we probably should have checked, but I've totally lost count of how many times at this point. I think we only missed the very first one.
Yeah.
And I've been to every one since because we just fell in love with it as soon as we went.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely recommend. So it's not like your usual cabaret show. The music is more industrial, alternative and metal, and they've got a focus on neo-burlesque, gore-lesque, fire, and a mixture of other kind of provocative acts with a bit of like fetish and kink mixed through as well. It's spectacular. Founded by Selena Castle, the director of Hel, alongside a troupe of amazing performers and special guests, Hel happens around every 3 months and each one is themed, bringing you a spectacular performance. This month's theme was Coven of Sins. Let's get into it.
So on the night, we headed through to Edinburgh, absolutely buzzing for the theming of this rendition of Hel.
So on brand.
Yeah.
It was great.
And for a change, we actually managed to get through nice and early. We were there for doors opening rather than...
Actually queuing, which like...
Yeah, we're normally squeezing in at the last minute. But we got in nice and early. Got to soak up a bit the atmosphere beforehand, which was really nice.
Yeah.
They always have like their Hel banner out at the entrance at Illabel.
It really sets the scene before you even get in there.
Yeah, and they've got staff greeting you on the door, taking you get your re-stamp.
Yeah, Hal was like totally dressed like to the nines as per.
Aye. Once we headed inside, we had a wee stop at the merch table where we spotted some of our own goodies for sale.
Yeah.
As well as goodies by plenty of other talented makers. And
it's nice how much like there is like a community around Hel, that they are so supportive of like other people in the area and like beyond at this point as well. That have like everybody's just really supportive of each other and kind of helping each other out and stuff.
It's nice to see that they kind of take into consideration who their audience is and try to cater for that audience. Yeah,
so we dived by the merch stall, picked up our new Hel t-shirts that we pre-ordered this time because fancy.
We can't be risking missing out.
Nah, definitely not. I think you've got like one each at this point.
Yeah. I always go for the
kind of tank top,
sleeveless. Yeah, they're really good quality t-shirts.
Aye, that is one thing I'll say for them is like they make sure that they're something they would wear themselves.
Yeah.
So they're like really cool designs, but also like decent quality material and actually comfortable.
Yeah. So
there's a bunch of other Hel merch there as well, but a lot of which we've picked up on previous visits because I think we've got just about one of everything at this point. Pride of Place, the calendar on the wall. Gotta have it. They also have like a raffle on as well, so we'd picked up some raffle tickets for that because some of the prizes...
some of the prizes were really, really good.
Yeah, we'll get into that a wee bit later on, but like... hats off to them. Like they know and work with some cool ass people, us included.
So once we'd stopped by the merch table, we headed over to the bar, grabbed ourselves something to drink, got ourselves some pretty prime seats this time.
Yeah,
we were
4 rows for the front.
Yeah.
Which for us who's usually like up in the back quarter, being as late as we usually are, not late for the show, just late for doors and stuff, because there's quite like a big window, and I don't know, I think usually like we're coming after work and things like that, whereas like we've had a wee bit more time to kind of get organised and get there a bit earlier at the moment, so yeah.
Aye, so we got some lovely seats right down near the front, and just settled in to soak up some atmosphere, have a chat.
Check out what everybody was wearing.
Yeah, there were some really cool outfits on the go.
Like Hel always encourage people to kind of dress up and wear what they want, and because there is that kind of fetish aspect to their shows, and the way that there just is a bit of crossover with that side of things as well, and the people that come along, there's some kick-ass outfits there. Like there's a real good like mixture of like goth and kind of like punk and more kind of fetish style fashions, and people kind of wearing a mixture of all three as well. So
yeah, there's always a really good turnout from the kink community.
Yeah.
It's nice to see the people being represented.
Yeah, definitely see a lot of familiar faces around about.
Yeah.
There was even two people that we've kind of briefly met or at least seen about a lot that were wearing like full nun and priest outfits. Like that was sick. That was something special. Like shout out to them, definitely. It was cool. They've always got like a banging playlist on in the background as well while everybody's kind of filtering in, which kind of sets the tone as well, and having everything lit up and stuff already.
It helps to create quite a nice atmosphere as you go in. They've got like some of their promo videos projected up onto one of the walls. It's just a really cool place to be. The energy's, really upbeat and a little bit spooky, a little bit sexy, a little bit sacrilegious on this occasion at least.
I feel like it's always a bit sacrilegious, let's be honest. You can't have a name like Hel without having some kind of spiciness mixed in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll link the promo video in the description because it's fucking awesome. Like, even if, obviously, you've either been to the show or you haven't, but like, it's still definitely worth checking out. They put a lot of time and effort into their promo videos, and like, they're all up on YouTube, so. With the voice of Abaddon Hope telling us that hell is imminent, we took our seats and got ready for the show to begin. And with that, we had the opening ritual. The curtains opened, Selenia Castle, followed by several of the Hell members and some of the stage crew, walked onto the stage and started the show with a human sacrifice.
Pretty intense way to start a show.
Yeah, I feel like it set the tone. It set the tone. There's a really cool picture of Selenia Castle actually licking the knife that was taken by Pictures and Blood on their Instagram.
That was shortly followed by a performance by Abaddon Hope, our lovely host, where she stripped, blindfolded, with blood raining down from her headpiece. It was phenomenal.
That headpiece was stunning.
Yeah.
It was like a crown of flowers, with like wrapped bandages like over her eyes and down her body. Like, I do not know how that girl managed that. Genuinely, it was flawless.
Yep. And then straight into hosting.
Yeah. Not even time to catch her breath, just like bam. And she's so funny. I love her so much. Like, I don't know, she's just totally neurospicy and just like comes up and just like speaks about her special interests, of which are very varied and very fucking interesting.
Yeah, she always manages to have a really good portion of the crowd like on side with whatever subject she chooses to go off on one about. That's always waiting with bated breath to see what we're going to get hit with.
Where she's going to go. Where she's going to go with it. Like, there's definitely a lot of like crowd engagement with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she just rolls with it. Like, it's great. It's great to see. The next one was one of my favourites. So we had White Hot Blonde as the devil, and Hal in his usual role as the kind of victim, I guess. I don't even know if you could call it that in this instance, so my god. So it's portraying a kind of Faustian deal where she was going to take his soul, but like he was getting one last wild night. So between them, the kind of performance included like drinking loads of booze and like pouring it over each other and like smoking cigarettes, but like in just like the sexiest way possible. It was excellent. It was so hot. And then like they had like a little salt shaker that was clearly supposed to be like coke or like some other druggy, some description, that was getting like put on White Hot Blonde's like ass, and then he was like snorting it off and stuff. Like, it was so cool. Ended with it getting all kind of hot and heavy, and then her reaching into his chest and pulling out like a light that was like representing his soul and eating it. It was so cool. It was like, oh.
It was just full skill debauchery from the off.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that there was like a writing desk and stuff as well. Like, like the props are awesome. Like the set design, the way like they kind of like set the stage and set the scene, and each one's so different and feels so unique in and of itself,
Yeah,
just because of all these touches that they put through.
It was quite a sort of corporate devil sort of interpretation, which was pretty good.
That suit was, oh yeah, definitely a way I would want to go.
Oh yeah, it looked like great fun. Yeah. Hal always looks like he's having a great time.
Yeah, definitely. Fair.
Yeah. So Sweaty Jessie and Rose Tralee followed on, in keeping with the theme, bringing us lust. They brought us a demon duo pole performance.
The only time I've ever seen like two people doing a pole performance together was when we went to Kinks, and it was like total mind blown moment. But seeing that at Hell with like the Hell theming and like the little fucking demon horns and the just, do you know, pole is sexy. Pole has sexual overtones, but this was like a whole other fucking level. It was great. It was excellent.
The synchronized moments in it were particularly mesmerizing.
Yeah, it was like, how the fuck did they do that? Like, I don't know. Watching them, it was like they were one person. They did so well. It was so hard not to get like sucked into the story. Like, they did such a good job of like personifying lust.
I think there was quite a few people in the audience getting a wee bit hot under the collar.
Speaking of collars, up next we had an amazing guest performer from Ireland who came over to perform with the Hell crew, called Ethereal Grave. She was wearing like the nun habit and not an awful lot else. And was doing like a kind of sexy pole performance, but with so much blood and gore, and doing like the sign of the cross and leaving like blood smeared on her forehead. And oh, it was so fucking cool. Like, way to make a fucking scene icon.
Yeah, it was hot, it was transgressive, it was messy.
It was sacrilegious as fuck. It was great. People would have been offended if if it wasn't the usual people that come along to Hell show that were just like absolutely enthralled by it.
Aye.
Yeah.
Heating things up, we had Selenia Castle coming in the custom Hell dress with the Hell rune on the front, and massive elaborate like candle collar.
I don't even know how to describe that. It was like almost like shoulder pads in a way, but like went all the way around the back of her head, like a collar, like round in a kind of semicircle, just covered in candles. It was just so like atmospheric.
Yeah, aye, because like all the candles were lit. It
just had this kind of ethereal quality to it that was in quite like direct contrast with like the makeup and the gore, and like, because she had this big like zip, like it looked like her face was like unzipped at the bottom, and then she had Melon and White Hot Blonde like walking in behind her, also dressed as nuns. Love how many nuns were there on the night. Like,
Selenia gave us some excellent spear dancing, followed that up with pouring wax all over herself.
Yeah, all down her like her face and her throat and like in her mouth, and it was amazing.
Yeah, she had one black candle and one red candle, and was doing one on either side. It was all very in keeping with the Hell colours and theming. It was
spectacular.
Yeah.
She does like her wax play. Blood Rouge Dragon was next to take to the stage with what could only be her interpretation of gluttony. So it started off, I feel like her performances are always so like beautiful and ethereal and kind of sensual. She does a lot of kind of quite like floaty, like sensual kind of dancing.
Yeah.
It's always stunning, always beautiful to watch. Like you can tell she is a dancer. Like that's like clearly her passion. It started off quite graceful and kind of got more chaotic as time went on. And then the cake came out, and I was just not expecting where that performance was going at all.
The cake kind of came out of left field a bit.
Totally threw me. I was like, what's happening? Like, where is this going? And they had like a riser on the stage, so like a bit that was kind of up a bit higher, just so that people could see. And up she got, and up the cake went, and I was like, "What the fuck's going on? What are we going to see here?" I thought cake was getting thrown at the audience, to be totally honest, because there is a splash zone at Hell if you sit in the first couple of rows. So we're always kind of like prepared for seeing something getting thrown at random audience members at some point in the night.
Blood or guts or jelly or...
Yep. Something.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Under her it went, and we got to see some cake sitting, which I've never seen in person before.
No, that was a first for me as well.
Yeah. And her kind of like sticking her hands like full on just like into the middle of the cake and like eating it in such like a ravenous kind of like primal kind of way, and like rubbing it all over her body, and oh.
Yeah, I think I get it now.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now.
It took seeing it, but yeah.
Yeah. Would you believe this was only the first half of Hell? They put on a show and a half. So they have a little interval in the middle where you can go and get another drink, go to the toilet, get some air, do what you do at intervals. And then once you come back from that, they do the raffle. So there were so many like really cool raffle prizes this time around. Like they always have cool raffle prizes, but I was blown away with what they had on. Like we bought more raffle tickets than we normally do because we were like, we fucking need this. Like I just wanted all of it. To be totally honest, like, I would have been quite happy if we were taking the lot home.
There were some really, really good prizes this time round. I get working with some cool local artists and creators.
They had like a set. They had 2 like beautifully handmade leather collars.
Spicy friendship bracelets that were called.
Oh yeah, sorry. I mean, it's fine on the podcast. We're not going to get censored here.
Is that the same thing? Have I been being really autistic and thinking spicy friendship bracelets meant something different?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a joke from a creator that we follow each other.
Pierre.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre. Yeah. It's just like a TikTok meme, I think, basically at this point.
Cool. I did not realise that's... I thought it was like...
Unless I've gotten it totally wrong.
Like handcuffs?
They had them as well. So they had a set of cuffs, and then they also had 2 collars as well, all from the same person. So the cuffs and collars were from Avernus Designs. They also had a £70 tattoo voucher from the Alchemist Cave Tattoo and Body Art Studio. Like, these were some big-ass prizes. I'm not going to go through them all, but the one that I really wanted, that I'm, like, low-key the most gutted about, was the Hel Coven of Sins poster that had, like, signatures from all the crew.
By all the cast and crew. That was...
Yeah, that was the one I really wanted.
Pride of place in the house.
Yeah. Next to the calendar. But we didn't win. We didn't win anything.
Yeah, that was a bit gutting.
Yeah. There's always next time.
Yeah, just need to try again next time.
Yeah. We've not missed one yet, so that's been over a year we've been going, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to get any friends or family to go along that are willing for that type of entertainment.
Yeah. Just deal with the awkwardness. Not with friends, I meant more family, but yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, we were into the second part of the night. And the very first act was hands down my favourite one from the full night. It was something... I don't even have words, really.
It was certainly pretty outrageous.
Yeah. Outrageous is a word. Melon appeared on the stage. There was a pole sitting in the centre, so we knew we were getting some pole dancing. I'm not entirely sure who it was that followed, because on their head was a massive goat head. I don't even want to call it a mask. It was like a mascot size head.
The goat mask or head was fantastic. Like,
it was so cool.
You absolutely could not fault any of the props or costume at all when it comes to Hell. They're absolutely on
Spot
form
on.
every time.
Yeah, this thing had presence. Like, it takes a lot to shock me.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Like, the places we go, the things we see, the people we meet, and, you know, the shit that we got up to, it takes a lot these days for me to be speechless. I was speechless.
Yeah.
What followed was like the kinkiest fucking simulated sex that I have ever seen. The standout moment was like Melon on the pole, like holding herself up with the goat head between her legs. Like goat fucking, not even goat, like devil, but like goat devil cunnilingus, like bam, on the stage in front of a crowd of people. It was, yeah. There are no words.
Aye, the crowd was visibly stunned at this. The intensity was palpable.
Yep. Like if the music wasn't on, you would have been able to hear a pin drop. Like it was total, just like nobody knew what to do with it at the time. Like in a good way though. Like,
and then after a few seconds, everybody went wild.
Yeah.
Like it was like, what are we seeing? Oh wow. Oh wow.
Like, yeah.
Then we had our next special guest and the teacher of many of the members of the Hell crew from the Academy of Burlesque and Cabaret, Gypsy, who brought us Power of the Pussy. So this was an aerial hoop performance. She came onto the stage dressed in like a black leather trench coat.
Real mob boss style. Like, she had like what are the hats called?
Fedora?
Like a fedora hat, like black. Like it was real, like proper, like showgirl, like old school burlesque style.
Yeah.
You know, with the peak of like the red leather chaps underneath, like poking through from the coat.
Aye, the crowd was going absolutely wild.
It amazes me what some of these performers are able to do. Like, it's one of them where you watch it and you're just like, I don't even think I could get up on that. Never mind be doing like splits and fucking flips and shit. Like,
aye, the sheer athleticism on show is just incredible.
In true Power of the Pussy style, we had Hal back on the stage with like a money gun shooting notes like all over her while she was like flipping about and stuff. It was sick. It was like proper. It did have like mafia boss energy. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So following on from her was our host, which meant she was doing the kind of intro bit in between her performance and Abaddon's. So she kind of introduced herself, explained a bit about who she was, and spoke about some of the other things that she's been up to, including being the host at Torture Garden in Edinburgh. So we have actually seen her perform before when we went a couple of years ago. And she was talking about her usual act. And my God, was the crowd disappointed that was not what was on show at Hel Cabaret that night.
Yeah, so her usual act involves pulling things from her vagina. When we saw her at Torture Garden, that just so happened to be fairy lights.
Yeah, because it was a November one, so it was like, it wasn't quite Christmas themed, but it was very festive.
You don't see something like that every day.
No, definitely not. That stuck with me. That was like back in,
Certainly a memorable performance.
Definitely. But she had a pull in the crowd. You know, she was so charismatic. Like, you can see where Hel have picked up like some of the way that they perform and stuff from her, and like just her kind of energy and her like the way that she puts herself across. So she introduced her next act,
which was Abaddon All Hope,
with a stunning Benny Gesserit look. For any Dune fans out there, you'll know what this is. So the Benny Gesserit, for those that don't know, are quite they're like an ancient and powerful sisterhood that kind of have a bit of religious, bit of political, kind of bit of like I don't want to call them social influencers. That sounds like terrible, but like they kind of use the powers that they've got to kind of like advise and guide and influence what's going on in the kind of political landscape. But at their essence, are a bit of like a kind of religious organisation. So she came out with like a thurible or like an incense holder, but like on the end of a chain, and was like dancing and like stripping and like kind of like twisting and twirling this thing about. It was so cool. It had real like, it's no Morning Stars. What's the one that's on? I always get this mixed up. Morning Stars when it's like on the stick, like
Flail.
a flail. It had like real flail vibes, which like I fucking love a flail. Not enough to remember what they're called, obviously, but yeah.
Aye, there was some really pretty impressive incense spinning tricks going on there.
I love that there was still like a geeky reference somewhere throughout the show. Like they've done quite a few kind of like game characters and comic characters and like different bits and pieces for like different kind of like nerdy universes before, and I love that they still got one in there.
It's always nice to see, and very much playing to their audience. They know their audience so well.
Yeah.
Talking of geeky, talking of knowing their audience well, our next performance was a cryptid. So we had Rose Tralee with what was my favourite performance of the night. We had a Mothman romance. The outfit was spectacular. The wings, the way that Rose moved with those wings on the stage. I loved the red sunglasses to give those like red Mothman eyes.
The little doodly bops.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
There was this sort of story going on. So it was a pole performance, and at the top of the pole there was a light bulb. So we had this amazing Mothman pole performance, sort of like reaching up towards this light bulb. It was hot. It was whimsical.
Yeah.
It was a love story between Mothman and the light bulb. Rosie's ability to kind of put across that emotion and just suck you right into this love story. It was absolutely enchanting.
Yeah. I love how each individual performance, like, they cover the theme, but each are so unique, but still so Hel. Like, it's hard to quite put into words. Like, the ability they have to be so unique in each performance, but still have like an overarching kind of vibe about the night.
Yeah, and to pull off like such a sexy and enchanting performance with something as wild as like a cryptid in that way. But I think they knew it was going to go down well, because in previous Hel shows we've had Mothman chat from Abaddon All Hope.
Several Hel shows, I think, at this point. Cryptids seem to be one that come up a lot, which is fair. Like, they're awesome.
Aye, big fan of cryptid.
Yeah. While Abaddon was kind of vibing and MCing, we got a little hint at what the next performance was going to be, because there was a prop that kind of had made its way past the curtain. And obviously the full audience were like checking it out and going, ooh, like seeing what was kind of coming next, because we had a kind of, so there was a kind of Y-shaped stick covered in candles and wrapped red thread and with like skulls, and just generally had quite like a kind of voodoo like vibe to it. So we kind of got a little hint about what was coming. And then the curtains opened, and we had a face at the top of the pole with these long flowing robes that reached all the way down to the floor, kind of encasing what looked like a gigantic figure. Red and black feather plume at the top, like dark eyes with like the makeup like running down the face, peering out at the crowd. And they had either arm stretched out, like as if they were on a cross, which that must take some leg strength.
Yeah, I mean, initially it was quite difficult to work out how they were up that high. I thought maybe
They were
do you
like
know, they're
hanging.
on stilts,
Yeah.
or do you know, I totally did not see what was coming next.
Of course, because we couldn't see the pole behind them. I had just assumed at the time, but yeah, like it had such like, it did look like they were like really tall, or like floating up in the air. Like it just was this perfect mix of the two of them, where it could be either.
It was very, very like theatrical and
Yeah, again, presence. Yeah. And then the music started, and then they slid down the pole and started their performance. And oh wow, that was like up there for me and one of my favourites of the night as well.
Yeah.
The full performance was like haunting. Like it did have quite like freaky vibes. Like it was good. It was well done.
Hell always tends to do quite a good job of making you just that little bit like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just in a good way though.
Stick with the candles and stuff on. There was like multiple kind of surrounding the pole in like quite like a kind of ritualistic fashion, with what appeared to be a doll on one side. And then it got involved in the performance, and when it was picked up, it was clearly like a voodoo doll. And it got attached to the pole, and it got like stabbed a bunch of times, and it was very much involved in the performance.
Yeah.
And I quite liked how the kind of story went from like quite like the anger being turned towards the doll to the anger being turned inwards.
Yeah.
And the kind of climax of it was the knife being turned on themselves. And of course, lots of gore and blood, because we all love it.
But again, it was another like quite sort of like emotive and
yeah, it was quite poignant. It had like
And with that, we were at our final act. The final act was Selenia Castle and White Hot Blonde as a sort of good versus evil deer combo.
The kind of the duality,
Yeah. Selenia Castle, kind of all in black.
Like dark, almost like kind of more demony horns.
Yeah, and White Hot Blonde in white and looking very like doe-eyed.
Like, yeah. Like she had like the little like dimpled makeup and like the kind of more traditional like antlers, and
And what a finale it was. There was fire, there was blood, like
there was like the corruption of innocence, like there was a human sacrifice, of course, because it wouldn't be hell without multiple human sacrifices throughout the show.
Of course, but they had antlers that were on fire, and always love a bit of fire.
It's my favourite. I'm disappointed if I go a place and there's no fire.
But our sacrifice for the final act was Sea-Tree.
Chef Sea-Tree.
Chef Sea-Tree.
Yes, chef.
We had Selenia Castle and White Hot Blonde sort of embracing each other and covered in blood, pouring it all down each other. It was pretty hot. It was pretty gory.
Ticking all the boxes.
Yeah.
There was fire, like,
It was a pretty perfect end to an incredible show.
Yeah.
Again, we will be back next time.
Definitely.
We'll
Wouldn't miss it.
Aye, absolutely not. It's a really, really good night out.
Aye, there's no lot more you could ask for in a night, really.
Nah. It's sexy, it's dangerous, a bit scary. You've got blood and guts and gore and fire and cryptids.
And some fucking amazingly talented people getting to do what they love. Keeping the show running smoothly in between all the acts was our fabulous host, Abaddon All Hope. I'm so envious of her ability to just riff. Like,
I've never seen anybody that can just riff like that and keep everybody so engaged
Yeah.
all the way through.
the topics she is able to cover, the spacey time is insane. And the topics she has knowledge of that she can just like pull out her arse at the drop of a hat as well. Like,
It's astonishing some of the things that like she's just able to cover so many people's like niche interests
Yep.
and have what appears to be like a very deep knowledge of so many different things all at once, and be able to like remember and like call them a mind at will.
Yeah.
Like
that is a skill.
I mean, like some of the things that kind of came up as topics were like foodstuffs as lubricant, things like mayonnaise
Oh,
and hot sauce.
that was a crowd. That was someone shouted Tabasco. Oh, I did not need that image in my head. Like,
to like average bear penis length, and
it was all relevant at the time.
Oh
like,
yeah. It's all kind of natural progression from one thing into the other. At no point it's like a hard stop and right, now we're going to speak about this entirely different thing. It's just constant flow.
Yeah.
Even learned about Russian Winnie the Pooh,
which we are still yet to look up because I'm curious about this.
Yeah.
I need more Russian Winnie the Pooh knowledge.
I think after we wrap up here, we'll maybe give that a check.
That sounds like a shout. Aye, they just keep the energy going from one act to the next. Like, they just keep it up there and keep it moving forward, and it
makes the transitions between the different acts so seamless. You're never sat going, feel like I'm waiting for the next act to start. It's just pure entertainment all the way through.
Yeah. Hel Cabaret just does such a good job of touching on so many different like groups of people and can be bringing them all together and them all enjoying every fucking moment of it.
Yeah. And there's so many people in the audience that you see time after time.
Yeah. They have a loyal following for a fucking reason.
And tickets sell out fast.
Yeah. Like, every single show has sold out, which, like, there's a fucking reason for that.
Aye, they've certainly got a winning combination.
Yeah.
They've just got such a unique mix of, like, queer, kinky, artistic chaos. Like, it's hard not to just feel so
at home there.
At home and just so engaged all night. Like, it's...
And they're all fucking lovely as well.
Yeah. We got the chance to catch up with a few of the members of Hel at the after party afterwards, which usually there's a club night on after, so you kind of they need to get turned around pretty quick, but there was no club night on after this one, so we all got to hang about for a bit, which was really nice to get a wee chance to have a chat with some of the performers and some of the backstage crew, and
just kind of catch up with everybody, really.
Yeah.
And it's not long until we get to see them again.
Very soon.
In fact, by the time this recording's coming out, it'll be tomorrow, because we've got them coming along and having a stall. We've got a few of the Hel guys actually performing at Uncensored Market. We've got Blood Rouge Dragon and Sweaty Jessie are both going to be having performances during the day,
which you will not want to miss. I'm
so excited.
pretty good.
Like, I'm going to be so distracted while that's on. Like, hosting duties can wait.
I mean, at the last Uncensored Market, while we had some Hell performances, everything stopped.
Yeah.
Everybody, mid-sales stopped to watch breathtaking performances by Selenia Castle and White Hot Blonde.
Yeah.
They seem to go down an absolute treat.
Selenia is also going to be putting on an advanced wax play workshop. She's taken what she does on the stage and shown people the best and safest way to do it. I think that is almost sold out. No idea what it's going to be by the time this is coming out, but we currently have 1 ticket left to that, so we shall see. Hell have also got a brand new club night on the 18th of July called Dust and Desire. This isn't just a party, it's a descent into our post-apocalyptic cyberpunk underworld. Think Mad Max Fury, Borderlands Chaos, and Wasteland Grit, all with a provocative kink twist. Expect relentless industrial, dark electronic, techno, and metal soundscapes to pulse through your veins. Sounds fucking amazing. We have got our tickets already,
Yeah,
so
really looking forward to that.
if anybody's coming along and sees us, come say hi.
Yeah. Aye, so they're going to be having some performances and go-go dancing throughout the night.
Yep.
And that's all going to be in LaBelle as
Yeah.
well. So
And there's not going to be play, but there is like a bit of kink vibe, so people are going to be dressed up and wearing kink gear and all the
dressing
lovely,
up is
delicious things that
highly encouraged.
that come along with that. So yeah. The next Hel Cabaret, they're actually having 2 in 1 month. They've got 2 fringe dates. The first on the 5th of August, which is going to be Hel organising and producing it, but filled with special guests from all over the world, is the plan. And then on the 21st, the traditional Hel Cabaret show. The theme not yet announced.
Ooh, exciting.
So keep your eyes out for that one. But if you can't wait until then, come and check them out on Uncensored Market tomorrow. Now on to our rating.
So yeah, like for me, this is a 10 out of 10. Will go to every single show.
Yeah.
Don't want to miss a single one.
Still raging we missed the first one.
Yeah, I mean they're all so totally unique. You don't see the same act twice. It's all new performances and costumes, and the work that goes into this and the effort that they put in to put on a good show is just phenomenal. It's an absolute steal for the ticket price.
Mm-hmm. Same for me. 10 out of 10 would absolutely recommend. And as you said, we won't be missing another one, so...
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been our descent into hell. Thank you so much for listening. Hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us, you filthy little sinners. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it.
We're keeping this podcast deliciously ad-free, so if you want to support what we do, head over to our Patreon and join our Church of Sin.
If you're craving some new personally recommended kink gear, check out our website, thesanctuaryofsin.com, for all your naughty needs, and use the code SINPOD at checkout for a 15% discount.
Got ideas, feedback, or just want to tell us what made you blush? We'd love to hear from you.
You can find all our socials, including Instagram, Twitter, and FetLife, on our Linktree, which is linktree/thesanctuaryofsin. Thank you for sinning with us.
And don't forget to tune in next time for our next confession.